Brendan Horan.
Mr. Speaker. Whai titiri ki te rangi, Waitaha monga nui ki te whenua. Tēnā koutou, tēnā no koutou katoa. Mr. Speaker, this settlement, as with other settlements of Māori grievances, is long overdue. The devastation and deceit perpetrated upon Waitaha was so brutal, and the deception so Machiavellian in its execution, it beggars belief. Men, women and children massacred, possessions burnt, and land systematically taken, stolen throughout the years. And what land that was taken. Some of the most fertile land in New Zealand. We are talking about the Bay of Plenty. And we only need to look at the importance of agriculture and horticulture to the Bay of Plenty and the revenue that it brings to our area. But this settlement is an important marker for the identity of Waitaha. The real story needs to be told. And as Waitaha has so many strands with so many tribes linked to Waitaha that many have learnt and discovered their identity on the journey that has taken so long to come to this partway but important nexus here today. These strands of knowledge are like the weaves of a harakiki, a kite basket, but still unfinished, but strong and able to carry so much. It is important and right that Hakaraia is acknowledged in the settlement, but I would just like to depart a little and talk about the education and acceptance of wider New Zealand. And if we look, and we don't have to cast our minds back so far, we can look at the disgusting cartoons that we saw a couple of weeks ago, but I want to take you back to about 5 months ago, where the Maritime Services had a public meeting, and they had some of the great brains in New Zealand there to talk about the effects and devastation of the Rena on the area. And a question was asked about the knowledge that was there, and one man stood up, a local kaumātua, and spoke of the kuakua. This is a shellfish from the deep. Now, the person that was running this turned around and said, we're working very closely with local iwi on this, and yet that person didn't recognise maru tapsel. Now, if this sort of thing happens again, the man to go and see is sitting right over there, the Honourable Chris Finlayson, who is an honourable minister and genuine. And for Waitaha, we need the education and continuing education of people throughout New Zealand, and most certainly the authorities. The kuakua date right back to Ahupawa, which is a wind that comes up and causes a cross current in the ocean and created that tsunami. And those deep sea shellfish would have brought us so much knowledge on the contaminants from the Rena. If only they'd have listened to Māori, eh? Moving forward, so Waitaha require a continuation of explanation to Council, the general public, territorial authorities, but most importantly, the children and people of New Zealand and the Bay of Plenty, so that those in the Bay recognise the enormous debt of honour and gratitude that they owe Waitaha, and most importantly, the role that Waitaha has played in our history and our futures yet to come. Kia ora.
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
As Minister, I take the last call in this debate. I usually take the first call, but I deferred to Dr Sharples, the Minister of Māori Affairs, who is a great ministerial and parliamentary colleague, as is the local Wairiki MP Te Ururoa Flavel, who's been advising me on many aspects concerning settlements in the Bay of Plenty. And when Dr. Sharples was giving his speech, I left the chamber not because I had the pip with him, but simply because, as the Minister in charge of the bill, I can't be here if someone else is moving it. So I just thought I should make that clear. Dr. Sharples was most anxious that people not think there was any disagreement between us. He's shot away to do something else, and I can assure you it's not because he's got the stitch with me. So this day signifies the end of a long journey for Waitaha, and I want to congratulate all here present for your vision.